What's up everybody, D-Man back. Welcome to a brand new video, and today we're going to be doing another Godzilla unboxing video. In today's video, we are going to be unboxing Playmates Toho series Godzilla Terrestris. This was, of course, Godzilla's third form from Godzilla Singular Point. Tragedy, boys, tragedy. Forever I've been wondering, why did they only make Terrestris? Why not Ultima? Why did they not make an Ultima? They did. Playmates did make an Ultima, and it just never sold at a Target near me, which means this is the only Godzilla Singular Point figure I own, and the only one I will own for quite some time, because I don't plan on getting the Ultima now that it's so expensive on eBay. What a tragedy. Alright, but yes, in this video we will be unboxing Godzilla Terrestris, Godzilla's third form from Godzilla Singular Point. This is the Playmates release of this. Very cool that Playmates did this. Immediately justifies its existence on the ground of this is a brand new figure that they have not done before. Fantastic. And let's check it out. The back of the box gives us some little descriptions here, stating Godzilla Singular Point is an entirely new animated adventure series that adds to the vast and exciting history of Godzilla. The story follows two young genius scientists, Mei Kamino and engineer Yun Arikawa, as they are unexpectedly dragged into a world-threatening war against giant monsters, with the description for Terrestris being, after being consumed by fire, Godzilla has transformed into a different species, now capable of rapidly regenerating tissue and even hardening a target area on its body in anticipation of an attack. That's a very weird way to say he can use his blood to defend himself against missiles, but okay. Well, this is their box for Godzilla Terrestris. It's pretty simple. I like the Terrestris that they've used here. That's a very good render of him. Here it is on the side too. Then you've got the really cool, I really like the Godzilla S.P logo on the side. You've got it on the front here as well. Copyright info down at the bottom. And then on the back there, you've got a picture of our boy Terrestris all put together with his big tail in that little destroyed city. And then of course on the front they've got the standard Playmates Godzilla just shooting his breath. That's the Heisei Godzilla. Still don't know exactly which one, but as I've said in every Playmates video, I think it would have been cool if they swapped out the Godzilla here with the Godzilla that they were selling the figure. I think this is so hyped that they did this. Godzilla Terrestris is actually one of my favorite designs in Godzilla Singular Point. I really like that monster. I think he's super underrated. Also got a soft spot for him because Godzilla Battle Line, he's one of my mains. I've been using that guy since day one and I've never stopped. He is one of my highest upgraded and I use him all the time. But yes, here's Godzilla Terrestris, the Gorosaurus spin on Godzilla. All right, let's get this guy out and talk about him. They sure didn't want you to steal this figure. Oh my gosh. Well, in terms of figure free ability, Terrestris was one of the hardest Playmates to get out of his box, but he's out now. He comes in two pieces. You got the tail separate from the body. And there's the boy. So let's see how the tail goes on. Should be pretty easy. It looks like it'll be pretty easy. Yeah, actually not. What the heck? That was the hardest Playmates tail I've ever had to put on. All right, but it's on now. There he is. I really like Terrestris. I really like the design. I don't have a Bandai or anything of him. It's really neat that I have this. I'm really happy about it. If I was given the choice between Ultima and Terrestris, I think I would have picked Terrestris anyways, just because I think he's so special. I really like him. He's such a strange Godzilla design. Big Terrestris guy over here. For anybody wondering, when am I going to finish reviewing Singular Point? All the reviews are recorded. I just have never edited them. Maybe I have a plan to release them this year if all things go according to plan. But I've had that plan for 2 years now. Here's Godzilla Terrestris out of the box. He's looking pretty good. I really like him. I like the color for him. They've given them this nice turquoise color. He just looks beautiful. They've done a really good job with the red on the back. Of course, Terrestris does have that all over his back. Now, Terrestris does have a little bit more of it running on the ridge lines on his front here. He's got those millennium styled necklines. I don't know what those are really called, but they kind of run all the way through his body. Now, the real Terrestris design has little sprinkles of red going through that, but this one covers its bases pretty well. I really like the discoloration on the chest. I just wish it had continued down onto the tail because, of course, on the real Terrestris design, it does continue down onto the tail, and you do run into the issue here with the tail where they've stuck the copyright info on there and they've almost gotten away with it, where they've just imprinted it, and so it's almost unnoticeable. Like, you can still see it's there. It's almost invisible, but then they have this black label number on him. I don't know why that's there because that totally breaks the illusion of it. I really dislike that. I think that the silver spines look great. They should have some red flecks through them. I don't think Playmates would ever have that high of quality. That's more of like a monster artsy thing to do, so so I'm totally chill with them not adding those. As far as the paint application overall, I'm pretty happy with it. I think that they've done a good job having the red kind of bleed into the turquoise color, this kind of gradient. It looks really good. Now, where you do run into some issues on mine anyways is that he does have little paint speckles all across his neck here that just show that the quality control was not up to par. As for the face though, I really like his yellow beady eyes with the pupils. Mine are facing the directions you'd want them to be. The teeth are nice and white. They look good. Although the bottom row of teeth is unpainted. It's red like the rest of the mouth, so that's not as good. And the internal layers of teeth is also red, so again, it could be better. As far as Playmates is concerned, again, I would not expect them to go anywhere else other than just coloring his fangs and his sharp teeth at the front. That makes sense to me. And I like that they colored in the little webs here in between his jaw. I think that's neat. I really like that stuff. I also like that they've colored in the toenails here. I wish they colored in the fingernails because they did a good job here. I don't know why they didn't continue here. It's pretty lazy to not color the fingernails. As for the rest of it being just red and turquoise, actually it looks pretty good because Terrestris should just be kind of red and turquoise. The turquoise looks very good and it doesn't take away from the sculpt. You can still see really good detailing. Speaking of that sculpt, they've given him this nice standing design, so he's kind of in that hunched over Terrestris posture, which is good. The sculpt overall is pretty neat, but the articulated joints don't match up very well. He kind of looks very disjointed and clunky and stuck together. But as for the details they've done, he looks great. His face looks fantastic. They've done a really good job there. The inside of the mouth just looks wonderful. There's like incredible detailing on the inside of the mouth. All over the body, he's got really good different patternings. So on the neck, he's got these like well-defined lines running down the back of his neck, and then he's got the groovier section towards the front of the neck. He's got the spines on the front of the neck. He's also got the, like I said, Millennium ridge line running down. The face also, I just want to take a moment, is very well sculpted. The fangs are individually sculpted. They look great. I really like the mouth pose, even though I wish you could open and close it better. You at least can pinch it, which is nice. I'll talk about that in articulation again. I like the bulky shoulders with the heavier scales. Same with the legs that have the heavier scales on the front. The feet look really great. I'm actually overall very happy with this sculpt on this guy, all the way down to the tail. I think the tail is very well done, very well detailed. The bottom of the tail is a little more unrendered than normal, but as far as Playmates goes, this is one of their most rendered Playmates figures I've ever seen them do. Good spines running all the way down the tail too, all the way up to the back, although they do lose their paint job the higher up they go. Once you get to this point of the tail, they've completely given up on painting. The red stops very abruptly, doesn't look great. Same with the bone-colored tail spines, it stops once you get to this last piece. Don't totally know why they did that. So that's kind of a mark against the paint job. But I'm thinking probably because this was a 3D render that they had access to, and it's already an animated character, it was probably pretty easy for them to put this guy together in a way that they were able to market and put on shelves. This is one of the higher quality Playmates figures I've ever seen them do, and again, I think that is because he's already an animated character, so there's a little more leniency built in already. I've never noticed on the Terrestris Godzilla before the back spike on his leg there. Very Jurassic Park Velociraptor. This is the Playmates figure I have most looked forward to opening since I got it. I'm really bummed I missed out on the Terrestris. For a $12 figure, this one's pretty good, like near Bandai quality, I would say. As far as articulation goes, well, you can pinch the mouth. That's not a joint of articulation, but that is a bonus for me. I don't know though, you can't really extend it wide. It's really hard to stretch the mouth open, but you can close it, which is nice. As far as the actual articulated sculpt, he's got one piece for the neck, which is really all you need. He's got one for the arm, one for the other arm, one for the leg, one for the other leg, and then one for the tail. That's 6 points of articulation in total. See, they could have added one here. They could have also added one where the tail line completely cuts off. Again, I don't know if Playmates has really ever done stuff like that, but you could. As far as things that throw this figure off, the only thing that really stands out to me is the transition here from this to this, where the tail completely gives up on the underneath color, and then on the back there, where it completely gives up on the back color. Other than that, this thing looks fantastic. Maybe it's just because I'm a big Singular Point fan, maybe it's because I'm a big Terrestris fan, or maybe it's because Playmates did a really good job with this figure. I'm very impressed with it. For what was originally a $12 figure, this is absolutely worth the price in my opinion. It completely satisfies its market demand because you're not getting any of these in America unless you get a Bandai, which you're gonna have to import from overseas. This is pretty special that they made this. I think it's awesome. I really like it. 6 points of articulation for a Godzilla figure that's also pretty standard. I think a lot of Godzilla toys come with that. I didn't really know what to do for figure comparisons here because I don't really have any other Singular Point stuff to compare him to, but I'll do my best. I wanted to start out with Gorosaurus Gorosaurus, the guy that this guy's inspired by, and in my opinion, he's vastly improved on Gorosaurus. Really like the design better. I think he's just overall way cooler than Gorosaurus was, but again, they're different kaiju. They're going for totally different things. But standing next to each other, this is the Playmates Gorosaurus 1968. You can tell that these guys are like cousins to one another. They look wonderful next to each other. I really am glad that I have both. Well, Gorosaurus looked great next to him, so let's see how the Playmates Shin Godzilla stacks up next to him. This is Japan's newest Godzilla before -1, standing next to Japan's newest live-action Godzilla figure before -1. There's the two of them standing next to each other. This guy looks way better. You can even just see the scale sculpt is way more detailed and richer than whatever is going on here. And I do like the Shin Godzilla too. So here's the two of them standing next to each other. Yeah, look at that. Terrestris' tail is just way longer. Terrestris is so awesome. I love him. Again, like I said, I didn't really know what to compare these guys to, but I got out the Bandai Godzilla 2019. I guess I could have gotten out a Playmates Godzilla 2021, but I went with the Bandai 2019. Here's the two of them standing next to each other. These two look good together. I really think that this Playmates Terrestris is near Bandai quality. And then finally, the only singular point boy I own, the Bandai Jet Jaguar. I don't know if Bandai ever released more Jet Jaguars, but here's the one that I own. Here's the two of them together, the Singular Point duo. I absolutely loved Singular Point. Glad to have these guys together. They look wonderful next to each other. They're about the same size. They stack up next to each other well in a fight. Not the same Jet Jaguar that fights Godzilla, and also not the same Godzilla that fights Jet Jaguar. But you can get a pretty good pre-matchup here with the two of them before they're in their ultimate forms. And they can just duke it out and smash into each other. It's really good stuff, but I don't really do much with them because everybody's got that weird thing where everybody wants you to keep the tags on your Bandais, so I keep the tag on them because the internet told me to. But there you go, there's the Godzilla Terrestris Playmates from Godzilla Singular Point. I really like him. I'm a big fan. I think the sculpt is really well done. There's a couple things that could have been done better, like I said, because when you have these articulated points, they don't match up very well. Like you can see when you turn the head, it creates these enormous gaps that just look really ugly, and the head doesn't really turn on a natural point. He's also got like his head angled, so it looks really strange when he turns it at all. As far as the arms go, you've got these smoother portions where when you are moving the arm and it's articulating, it looks a little rough. Kind of the same deal with the leg here. If you pull the leg back far enough, you'll get this smooth patch exposed. And then with the tail, again, these smooth patches open up when you move the tail. So overall, I really like the sculpt. There's things that they for sure could have done better, but overall, I'm pretty happy with it. This figure instantly justifies its existence in that it's the only one of its kind so far. As far as Playmates goes, this one's on a bit higher level than most of the other stuff Playmates has done, so I gotta give them a shout out for that as well. And I think if I were to rate this figure, I'd give him an 8 out of 10 because he is wonderful. It's one of my fave Playmates that they've done. I think there are some glaring things that they could have done better, but I also think he's on a much higher level than most of the other stuff Playmates has done. So that'll be my review for this one, and unfortunately, it might be the only Singular Point review we do for a figure unboxing, at least for quite some time. Yeah, that's it. That's the video. If you want to support the channel, you can use the link in the description below where you can access the Patreon. I would like to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on Patreon. The support I get on the Patreon is what makes videos like this possible. Thank you so much for the support I get on the Patreon. If you want to check out the Patreon, you can use the link in the description below where you can get early access to content, access to the Discord community, and more. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time for the next one. D-Man out.